Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori Brain. Today we're going to talk about the apex of your yod being triggered by Mercury. So transiting Mercury, moving around the chart back to the place where it can trigger your yod apex. Mercury makes its way around the chart every single year, so this will be a yearly thing. Now, unlike the sun, it's not going to be on the same day every year. It might not even be in the same month, depending on the retrograde cycles of Mercury. Now, when Mercury crosses the apex of your yod, you are going to feel a great need for speech and speed. So you're going to have that feeling of like, okay, something's got to give. Like we got to get going on this. This is something that has been in my chart since birth, but I really need to put things into play. I really need to increase the speed at which things in this yod are manifesting. Also, communication. This is a really great time when it crosses the apex of the yod to look at what ways you are communicating to others. Do you need to write a letter to your boss to let them know that you're not happy with your current responsibilities and to see if there is a different way to move those around? Do you need to tell somebody in your life something that you've kind of like been hemming and hawing, not really knowing how to move forward with it? Is there anything that you need to be talking about or doing in relationship to the apex of your yod that you are not currently doing? You're going to feel that increased need for that increased desire to speed things up there, to talk about things there. Now, one thing to remember is that when Mercury is at the apex of your yod, it is also quincunxing those two planets at the bottom, those two bases. So those two planets are going to have a resistance to that speech, a resistance to that openness. So, it's not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, it's just something to keep in mind. You are going to feel that push and pull, but when Mercury is aspecting the apex of the yod, it is definitely going to be more of a push, but you're still going to feel that resistance. It's not like it suddenly opens its gates and everything is fine. You are going to feel that. Now, Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, at least. Sometimes it's 4, depending on how, sometimes it's 4. But when Mercury goes retrograde, it goes into this period before the retrograde where it's called the shadow period. And those are degrees that when Mercury turns retrograde, it's going to go back over in the chart. So even if Mercury is not retrograding yet, but the apex of your yod is in Mercury's upcoming shadow period, you're going to want to pay close attention to that. Because not only is Mercury going to trigger it, it's going to trigger it backwards as well. So there's going to be some reevaluation, there's going to be some looking at things from a different angle when Mercury goes back across it. And then when Mercury goes direct, it's going to cross it again a 3rd time. And that's the time for you to really solidify everything that you learned during the retrograde of it triggering your apex and moving forward with a new perspective, a new idea, a new plan with all of this. Now, if your Mercury is actually the apex of your yod and then transit Mercury is transiting it, that is kind of your Mercury return, which we all have every single year. It's not like one of those bigger moments like your Saturn return or even a Jupiter return. This is something that happens every single year. However, it's going to double down on that Mercury focus of the yod. It's going to be Mercury but increased. So that increase in speed and speech is going to be very prevalent as you go through this transit. If you guys have any questions or stories about how this looks and what you've experienced during this time, please drop them below. I love reading those comments. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you next time for Venus.